YouTube. I still throw a few back, talk a little smack, but I'm feeling bulletproof. This is People at 7 on Twitter and YouTube. People at elsewhere on Blue Sky and YouTube. People at elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. And the car is still running. Sunday, I went to get ready for church, got dressed, came to the car, went to start it, nothing happened. And it's like, what? I mean, not even a click. It was just, it wouldn't turn over. And then I tried 3 or 4 more times, and then it turned over and turned itself off after a minute. And then I got it to running, and basically, okay, 5 minutes, it turned itself off. And then I turned it on, I just let it run. I said, okay, so it's running, so it's not the starter. And then I turned it off and went and watched my church on YouTube because I wasn't going to drive the car then. Since then, I have borrowed my daughter's car to run errands and do all the things I need to do and pick up the grandbaby, so forth and so on. And today I have an appointment. It's Thursday, so I figure come out, see if the car starts. And it's been running now for almost 20 minutes. My daughter, of course, is saying, we'll send Metro over to, do Metro now so you can get to your appointment. But the car is still running, so I'm going to drive it. Yeah. It's still got the alternator. Look, the battery light is not on. Hear that? Engine's working. So I'm thinking it was just a fluke. Maybe something wasn't connected. I called a friend of mine who happens to be a mechanic. He said you didn't let the car run long enough to charge the battery. Give it at least 15 minutes. Well, I've been in the car for 20 minutes now and it's still running. So I'm thinking the battery is fully charged. The alternator is alternating. Don't know if that's a word, but that's what I'm saying. And if it gets stuck, somebody can give me a jump. The place I'm going where my appointment is, there's 100 and something people there. Somebody might have some cables and can jump the car. If not, I'll call my insurance company and see what they can do. But yeah, that's my plan for today. I've already prayed over this car. I prayed over the battery. I prayed over the alternator. So if it's God's will that I break down in the middle of nowhere, I accept that. But I'm thinking that was just an issue at the time. But for right now, we golden. So yeah, this has been People at 7 on Blue Sky and YouTube. People at elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that like button. Yay! The car is still running. I mean, I even got the air on and the radio was on. And yeah, I'm thinking everything's back to normal now. Bye now. People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People at 7 on Blue Sky and YouTube. People at elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. And today, this is my last K-Pod. And that would mean I'm out of coffee. Except for I have a hack. Okay. Here, I have a standard measuring cup and some folders. Okay. We're going to recycle this K-Pod to look like this. Okay. As you can tell, I've already done one. This is the thing. Usually for when I run out of K-Pods, I have this. You put your coffee in there, so forth and so on, and stick it in your Keurig. This doesn't quite work on my Keurig. So I bought a Java jig, which is basically the shell. You put a filter in there, you put this to hold the filter basket in, and then you put this in, stick that in your Keurig, and brew coffee. So for one little thing, it's slightly too big, so when I try to close the coffee maker, it just doesn't want to work. So what I do instead, hold on, let me get that open. There we go. And see, I thought that would work, so I bought 2 of those. What I do instead, I'm going to show you. First, let's get the coffee maker in there and show you what happens when I try to stick this in. And I even made sure it's facing the right way. And it stops right about there. It doesn't quite go down to the point where it could brew the coffee. It's too thick. So that's when I put the Java jig in play. And it goes down, but when I put coffee in there, it just kind of not works with the lid on. So I took the empty Keurig, the Java jig top, turned it around so it gets to that same hole, and that works. But it keeps popping up there like that. So that's when I decided, put a piece of aluminum foil or saran wrap there and it works fine. But in a pinch, I'll go ahead and use that Java jig top. But just so you can see the process of how to recycle the K-Pod, this is the K-Pod. That's aluminum. So you just literally peel that off. And I mean the entire thing of aluminum will lift completely up. Then I just simply rinse the grounds down the sink. So I have the pod and the filter. Now I do have these little filters that go with the Java jig. So let me show you how that works. You take the filter, slide it into the Java jig, center that more. Put your coffee in, then go like this. But see that? I think that's what's keeping it from acting right when it's time to stick it in the Keurig. It becomes too bulky and then it doesn't want to work. So what I do instead is I take the filter that I just made from the existing K-Pod. You're going to use 2 tablespoons of coffee. Because that's the amount needed to fill it up. Tap that down if you want to. empties in the sink. Clean off the edge. That part's important. Now, I can either stick that in there like it is, but what happens is all the coffee grounds will get stuck on the top, which is why I put the top of the Java jig there to prevent that from happening. And then I put it in the Keurig, turn it around so it gets to that same hole. And I'm going to turn the top around too so I can grab it easy. Slide it back if I need to. Boom. Now I set the coffee maker, add some water, and ready to go. And as you can tell, the top is there. When you use the Java jig, if the top is facing this way, it's going to stick to the top. There's two openings on the side of your Keurig. Make sure those line up so that way you can grab a hold of it. If it does stick to the top, just stick your finger and scoop it out of there. Don't go through the middle, go to the side, because that is very, very sharp. Not only does that poke a hole in your coffee pot, it'll poke a hole in you. And we don't want holes in our skin very sharply. But that's how I recycle my K-pots. The K-pots in that format can be reused about 5 or 6 times. I usually take this little mini coffee filter that I use for the Java jig, stick that upside down so that way the water and the moisture can wick onto here, so that way it, dries it out, so that way you have a nice fresh pot. Because if you let it sit there with it being a water-based, paper, plastic, that can cause mold if you let it sit too long. But if you drain the water out and let it dry, then you can reuse it long enough for you to get to the store and buy some more coffee. So, you're good for a week or two. And since I already used this one and I got that one ready to go, and then I have my ground coffee, I can get through the week. I go shopping for groceries on Sundays. This is Saturday. So basically tomorrow I'll have more K-pots. But for right now, you need to make coffee. Boom. That's how that works. But if I had to wait a week, I'm golden. I have a usable method of using my Keurig until then. This has been People7 on Blue Sky and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps are located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com, my blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that like button. Bye now.